Yoshinobu Yamamoto will be on the mound against Kevin Gausman for the Blue Jays as they look to secure the World Series title. That game will be tomorrow night. Dodgers are a slight favorite on the money line in Toronto. We got Thursday Night Football tonight. Baltimore taking on Miami. Battle of 2-5 Ravens, 2-6 Dolphins. Baltimore 7.5 point favorite on the road with Lamar Jackson back in the fold. The point total is set at a high 51.5. Need HVAC. This month, get 0% for 18 months on a new system. Schedule your free proposal, AndersonPHA.com. Anderson, fast and reliable.
What's going on, everybody? Hour number one here on San Diego Sports 760. Happy Thursday to you all. It is San Diego Sports 760. My name is Ben Fletcher. That is Sammy Long. We are with you until 2 o'clock today. We got a busy one for you. A couple of giveaways to give away. Pair of tickets to see San Diego State homecoming taking on Wyoming on Saturday, 4 o'clock at Snapdragon Stadium. We also have a pair of tickets to go see Brian Adams that will be given out on today's show. Caleb Davis, who is the general manager of Aztecs football, is going to be jumping on the show with us today. Talk about homecoming, talk about his role as the general manager of the football team and kind of what that entails. Looking forward to that. It's a new position in the world of sports. Caleb's done a hell of a job with it so far, and we will check in with him coming up at 12:30 today. Sammy Long, how are you? Did you have a nice night? Long shots winner. What's up?
Long shots winner. Yes, we did cash 3 for 3 on NBA picks. We're not going to fault you for vetoing the Blake Snell over. That would have multiplied our payouts. But listen, we're staying positive. Got a winner. NBA picks have been kind to us for the first week of the season.
It was nice. And look, it started out looking like me vetoing Blake Snell was the right thing to do. What was it? 2 home runs in the first inning for Blake Snell?
Yeah, first pitch for 2 home runs within the first 3 pitches.
Crazy. So it looked like I was a genius for a second there. And a couple of people actually tweeted at us. It was like, thank God Fletch vetoed it. And I said, well, wait. And then Blake Snell really settled down and was dominant for a while in that game. But the Blue Jays do get the win. Impressive. Now, here's what I'm going to say is Major League Baseball's problem with this World Series. And it's a World Series that may go 7 games, and I think we should all kind of hope for that. That is fun. Or the Blue Jays win it in 6. But here's Major League Baseball's problem, I think. 4 of the 5 games so far have been decided by the time they got to like the 5th inning. And that kind of stinks for Major League Baseball. Now, they may have gotten the best World Series game of all time in Game 3, that 18-inning marathon. But outside of that, none of the games have been competitive for the most part. Last night being the shining example of that. The Dodgers just could not get anything going offensively. 12 strikeouts for the Blue Jays starters. I believe 1 runner in scoring position for the Dodgers all game long. Like, it was a really pitiful offensive performance for the Los Angeles Dodgers, who I would imagine fans are saying, what the F, Mookie Betts? Who are you and where did you go? Kind of fascinating that really none of these games have been good outside of the one, Sammy.
Well, I think that's the underlying thing through the Dodgers for their playoff run is the bats haven't been very good. There's been moments where they've been fantastic. You looked at the Shohei Ohtani Game 4 against the Milwaukee Brewers, but they haven't been very good. It was just kind of being covered up because the pitching was so fantastic in that Philly series and then in that Brewers series. I mean, the bats weren't there. And I think what you're seeing now is a Toronto Blue Jays team that believes in itself, is a lot more talented than people gave him credit for coming into this series, in a lineup that's making the Dodgers work. And although I don't think the starting pitching has been really the problem for the Dodgers because they just have gotten a little bit worse because they're facing a good lineup, the starting 9 for the Dodgers has been awful. And Mookie Betts has been MIA. Andy Paez got benched last night because he's had one of the horrific postseason. I mean, there's just nothing coming. And it's funny. It's the inverse of the Padres. When we talk about when the Padres went in the postseason, we were talking about how they don't hit home runs and it's all about batting around the base pass. And that's tough to do in the playoffs. Well, the Dodgers are the complete opposite. They only rely on home runs. They do not build, as you said, they had 1 runner in scoring position the entire night last night. That came off a little bloop single from Teoscar Hernandez. The Dodgers have not put pressure on the base pass in this series. And if you go back, if you think about it, the last 2 games, and if you take Game 3 and you cut it in half, because it was 18 innings, it was 2 games, the last half of that game, and then the last 2 games.
So the last 27 innings?
The last 27 innings, Dodgers scored 4 runs. Is that going to get it done against the Toronto Blue Jays team that's really good? No.
They were all at home. All 27 of those
all at
innings. Look, the Dodgers may have just punted this World Series based on their 3 home games, only winning one of them, and having that game be the marathon that it was. I thought the Blue Jays had all the momentum after that game 3, and they have taken it all the way back. It's going to take one more win for the Blue Jays to be crowned the champs. And we'll see Jeff Passan. We're going to have to hear from him on what this means for the overall health of baseball if the Dodgers get their asses kicked in this series. Which is the way it's heading, but anything can happen over the next 2 games. But I do wonder what this means for 2027. Is this actually a bad thing that the Dodgers might lose this World Series because it's going to lend credence to the way that they've built? I don't know. It's obviously a lot to be determined in the world of baseball, but we got a lot of stuff going on. I was at the Aztecs scrimmage last night against USD. Got to tell you, man, this team is damn impressive. I'll have a full breakdown for you coming up in hour 2. But there's a couple freshmen named Tay Simmons and LZ Harrington who really, really opened my eyes last night. And then the return of a bunch of guys who I think got a lot better. Brian Zutcher and this squad, San Diego, get excited for this Aztecs basketball team, which gets started actually next Tuesday, I believe is game number 1 against Long Beach, November 4th at the AHAS Arena. This is going to be an incredibly fun team to watch because, Sammy, you look back at last year, some of the problems that have plagued this Aztecs program have been scoring droughts. I don't think that's going to be a problem on this team. They got scoring everywhere. In fact, it's going to be tough to get all the guys some playing time, and there's might be some red shirts this year that are mind-blowing to me. But we'll get into all that coming up in hour 2. Right now, time for the Big 3, where Sammy Long rips through the top stories in the world of sports. Sammy, smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
I don't know about you, but I love knocking the socks off my friends. Hey, it's San Diego Sports 760. If you'd like to watch the show, a couple ways for you to do so. On YouTube, at San Diego Sports 760. On X, at Fletch and Sammy. And by the way, text line, which is always open, 70470. Start your message with team. Me, Sammy, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, all of us were planning on doing a big Halloween costume together. Nobody bought anything for it. So we are now... We're less than 24 hours away from our big company Halloween party, the potluck that's going to be going down tomorrow, I think at 11 o'clock. We have no costume.
So we're going to get in the Big 3, but I was at the gym yesterday and I was like, wait, I need to get my stuff we were going to do the mystery machine, right? I was going to be Shaggy.
Mm-hmm.
You were going to be Scooby-Doo.
Because you look like you wouldn't even have to do that much.
I just needed a green shirt and some khakis.
Right.
And yeah, so do you have a costume? Like, do you have a solo costume?
As of right now, I have nothing.
All right. Well, we
Text line, help us out.
We got less than 24 hours to get this together.
70470, start your message with team. One fun one that we got on Instagram was we all wear like sheets, like the old classic ghost costume, with the eyes cut out.
Yeah.
And then put a capital B on everyone's chest, and we're boo bees. That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
It's not bad.
All right, Sammy, where are we going with hour 1?
All right, we're going Thursday Night Football. So Ravens on the road in Miami. Both teams 2 wins. Both teams looking to turn their seasons around. Are you surprised the Ravens are 7.5-point favorites in Miami in this game?
I am a little surprised. I'll be honest. Look, the Dolphins, they showed something last week. They showed that they're not just going quietly into the night. They beat the crap out of the Falcons. And I understand Kirk Cousins looked awful. The Falcons defense has been pretty good all year long. And the Miami Dolphins were running up and down the field on them. So I'm looking at Miami tonight. I love that number, plus 7.5. At home in Miami. Look, Lamar's back. Lamar might be rusty. There's a lot that could go into this game that I would say favors the Dolphins. Oh, by the way, it's an offense that never really should have sucked as bad as it was sucking early in the year. You have a really good play caller, we thought, in Mike McDaniel. You have Tua, who is capable when he's not, injured. And you got Jalen Waddle and A-Chain and speed all over the field. I was shocked when I saw plus 7.5. It feels like that's where to put the money, which is why you should all be hammering the Ravens minus 7.
They're going to win by 30. On paper, you look at this on the road, everything you just laid out, you're getting the hook as well, 7.5. I mean, let's just say the Ravens are blowing them out. And let's just say that's kind of the thinking of the game, which I don't know is going to happen. I actually think this might be a pretty decent game tonight. The Miami Dolphins offense could certainly backdoor cover 7.5 points at home. That's very reasonable.
A couple of 40-yarders.
They got right against a Falcons defense. Look, it's understandable why the Dolphins shut down the Falcons. Drake London wasn't there. Michael Penix wasn't there. They didn't have anyone going for the Falcons. The Falcons defense, though, had looked really good. They got after Buffalo. They got after your Niners. It was the Niners defense that absolutely shut down that offense. I mean, they got after them a little bit. I'm curious, though. This game's interesting because you would think all the pressure's on Miami, right? It's at home. They're Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel have been rumored to be fired. Tua Tagovailoa, they looking for a quarterback next year. That's what you would normally think in this spot. But the fact that our expectations for the Baltimore Ravens coming into the year, and the fact that you look at their schedule the next month and a half, Fletch and I were talking about it yesterday, and you're like, this team could easily get back in the playoff picture, especially after the fact that the Steelers and the Bengals do not look good, and the Browns are an absolute dumpster fire. So all the pressure on Baltimore tonight, I think is actually going to be a pretty good game. I would lean Baltimore because Lamar's back, but this feels like a too high of a number for me.
Yeah, because we were all excited about the plus 7.5. Let's all hammer minus 7.5 for the Ravens. That feels like the way to go. Sammy, what's next?
All right, we're going to the NBA. Austin Reeves hits a game winner for the Lakers last night on the road in Minnesota. Kenny Smith, though, on the NBA TNT crew, after compared him to Jeremy Lin. Shaq and Chuck had problems with it. A, is this a fair comparison? And two, is he the best third option in the league?
Were there problems with the fact that he was calling him Jeremy Lin? Because Linsanity was like a month stretch, and Austin Reeves has been pretty good for a while?
That's what they're like. That's unfair. This guy's been a good player in the league for 2, 3, 4 years now.
That feels like the better side of it. Now, what was part 2 of your question?
Is he one of the best third option in the league in terms of a team that's looking for a number 3?
Okay, yeah. So here's the problem with that. I don't think he's the third option. I think this year he is the second option for the Los Angeles Lakers. It is going to be Luka, and to this point, I mean, with Luka out, with everyone hurt for the Lakers, you've been relying on one guy, and that's Austin Reeves. So moving forward, if LeBron comes back in a month, LeBron comes back and is the LeBron we've seen the last couple of years. Well, great. Maybe he can retake the throne. Does anyone actually think that that's what we're going to see from LeBron, or is LeBron taking a serious step back? Is LeBron even interested? Because right now he doesn't look like it. So I'm looking at Austin Reeves as he's not a third option anymore. Austin Reeves has been elevated. He is a second option, and you're hoping for LeBron to come back and do anything.
I think it's fair because the conversation all offseason has been build a team for LeBron and Luka to go win this year because it's LeBron's last year. And the number one trade chip the Lakers have is Austin Reeves, because teams around the league would love a guy who can score at will. He had a career-high 16 assists last night, so he can run the offense. I mean, every team would be in on having Austin Reeves, adding him to their squad. But I think you're sitting there going, this is maybe LeBron's last year. Maybe it's the last year with the Lakers. They're not giving him an extension. Who's going to be running with Luka next year? So you're going to trade Austin Reeves, a guy who, he's not Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but through the first week and a half of the season, their stats are identical. You're going to trade a guy for some complimentary wing defenders that might not get you a title this year. I think you see what you have with the Lakers kind of big three. You have a center presence in DeAndre Ayton, who's been much better the last 4 games of the season after a pretty bad night one. I think you see how far this thing can take you, some tweaks along the edge, and try to build with Luka and Reeves going forward, because Reeves, I think, just kind of keeps disproving people wrong for thinking he's just a kind of whatever piece. This guy could be a big part of a championship winning team.
Man, I'm curious what it looks like when LeBron gets back, how he fits into everything, because it feels like they're establishing a culture right now.
I think LeBron has to do what he did with Luka. When the Lakers had success last year, he played off ball.
Right.
He cannot be bringing the ball up anymore. That needs to be Luka and then Reeves, and let LeBron, one of the highest IQ players, for whatever you want to say about LeBron, kind of work off that.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to the World Series. Blake Snell just came down and said he didn't feel, he said, quote, that the Blue Jays didn't really get to me in Game 5, said it was bad luck. Who was most to blame for the last 2 losses for the Los Angeles Dodgers?
It has to be the offense. You're not putting up any runs. You can't win. Look, Blake Snell wasn't bad yesterday. Blake Snell had a couple of bad pitches within the first 2 batters. Then he was really dominant. He struck out 7 after that? Struck out? What the hell? Struck out 7 over the next few innings. Blake Snell was not the problem yesterday for the Dodgers. The problem is, and this is going to sound like an echo from what happened just a few weeks ago when the Padres got bounced, the problem is their highest paid players on the offensive side of the baseball are not performing right now. Sammy had a great stat, I thought. Last 27 innings for the Dodgers, 4 runs at Dodger Stadium. Look, it's beautiful if you're rooting for the Blue Jays like yours truly, but if you're a Dodgers fan, you're pissed off at Mookie Betts, at Shohei Ohtani, yes, the golden child, at Freddie Freeman, at everybody who hasn't been producing over the last 27 innings of World Series baseball, because they have not been producing.
if Blake Snell's going to get clowned for this comment, but he's right. He is right. He got destroyed in the first inning, shell shocked, lead off two batters, first and second, hit home runs. Think about the rest of that game. He settled down. In that third run, it's on Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts, time and time again for Dodger fans, have been crying out loud, going, "Why is Teoscar Hernandez in right field? He's too slow. He's terrible defensively." And it came back to bite him last night, because if Teoscar Hernandez doesn't dive for that ball and they get a triple off it, it would have been a single. Then they hit a sac fly. Snell really gives up 2 runs. So it's hard for me to put it all on Blake Snell. Mookie Betts has been completely missing in action. All these guys at the top, no one's helping out Ohtani. Freddie Freeman's kind of swinging out whatever after the game 3 bomb. And it just feels like these guys are playing, the Toronto Blue Jays are playing team baseball and kind of just putting pressure on the base pass. And the Dodgers are trying to get it all back in one swing. And that's why they're on the brink of elimination. And tomorrow night, it's going to be electric against Toronto.
Momentum feels like everything in the World Series, more so than other sports even. So you look at who has the momentum right now. It is fully on the side of the Toronto Blue Jays, and hitting is contagious. Blue Jays are hitting. Pitching is going great. The starter yesterday, is it Yesavage?
Yesavage. Yeah, Yesavage.
12 strikeouts yesterday.
Oh, rookie. This guy was in AAA ball
Yesavage?
3 months ago.
He's got a cool name. It's almost like Yes Savage, and yes, he is a savage. But he goes off yesterday, 12 Ks, and the Dodgers weren't even close on a lot of them.
I mean, to that end, before we get to break, there is no way that the Dodgers, with the amount of money being spent for that lineup, should let a rookie come into your stadium and have 12 strikeouts
and have completely non-competitive ABs.
Completely non-competitive.
Seriously,
not working deep counts whatsoever.
All right, quick break here on the other side. Let's talk about tonight's game. Are the Ravens back? Vegas is telling you yes. Do we have different ideas? That's next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. Sammy Long, you went to San Diego State. Am I correct in that?
I did.
You're an Aztec for life, right?
Hell yeah.
Did you ever spend any time down at the Broken Yoke on campus?
I did. You got a whole stuff down there. Broken Yoke, fantastic breakfast place. Got that whole little marketplace, Trader Joe's. Spent a lot of time at Wings and Things as well.
Sure. I love Broken Yoke, man. They got some good places around town. But the Mission Valley one is the one I've gone to the most. However, John and Jim are at Broken Yoke today. From 2 to 6, they're doing a little live broadcast with the Mesa Foundation, which is the main NIL partner of the San Diego State Aztecs basketball team. Coach Dutcher is going to be on the show today at 2:30. BJ Davis, the guard who looked really, really good last night, is going to be on the show today, and Miles Bird as well. So head on down to the Broken Yoke, hang out with the Aztecs. How about that?
Hell yeah. Shout out to the Broken Yoke.
Broken Yoke's good stuff, man. I actually somehow ended up golfing with the guy that owns all the Broken Yokes around San Diego.
Really? We get some hookups?
Cool dude. He's a really, really cool dude. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you. We got Thursday night football coming up tonight. Stick around for about 9 minutes. You're going to hear from the Aztecs football program general manager, Caleb Davis, who's going to be jumping on the show today to chat about all things Aztecs football. And we're also going to be giving away some tickets to the Aztecs game coming up on Saturday. But right now, you look at Thursday night football, Ravens, Dolphins in Miami. The spread's at 7.5 points in favor of the Ravens, who do get Lamar Jackson back. Is any of that defense coming back tonight, Sammy?
I will look right now, but I think the big thing is obviously Lamar.
Yeah, Lamar coming back is huge. It's everything for the Baltimore Ravens. Hi, Jim Russell. We just told everyone to go say hi to you at Broken Yoke. Okay, hi. Jim says hi to everybody. But Lamar Jackson coming back is huge for the Baltimore Ravens. And look, we'll see. It feels like the Ravens are at the turning point in their season right now, where they either submit to that 1-5 record that they started with and do what the rest of teams in NFL history that do, starting out 1-5, and that's punt on the season and look for the best draft pick in next year's draft. Or the Ravens can kind of put their foot in the ground right now and push forward because the Steelers are struggling. The rest of their division is kind of ass. And the Ravens can make a serious run of the postseason and potentially still win the AFC North, which how many teams that start off 1-5 in a division like that have an opportunity to go win their division?
Well, and it's two different teams, two different perspectives. It looks like it's really just Lamar coming back. They're still missing, Matabuki's out for the year. They might get Robinson back in the linebacker core, but like there's not really for the Ravens. Obviously, you've seen teams that like this happened to the Cowboys. Remember the year that it was with Romo and Bryant and all them, and everyone got hurt, and then you end up getting Ezekiel Elliott. You draft Dak Prescott because you get a high pick. So there's benefits to getting a high pick, but there's less for the Ravens because the Ravens think that they have a roster right now that could give people hell in the AFC playoffs. And I think they're fair to believe that. I think this team, when fully healthy, could be a problem for a lot of teams.
So weird that you didn't mention the Niners team that Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt on, and then they fell all the way to number 2 in the draft and ended up taking Nick Bosa, changing the future of the organization. So weird you didn't mention that. But keep going.
That one's there too. But like the Miami. If you ask Miami fans, our very own CJ, who cuts all the sound for us.
CJ's a Dolphins fan.
Oh yeah, he's Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins.
I thought he was an A's fan.
He is.
What the hell?
I gotta figure out why he's Miami. But anyway, Miami. Like, if you ask Miami fans, they want a quarterback because I think Tua has shown that although he has he has a lot of talent, he's not an elite quarterback, and it's kind of the worst case scenario. It's your Kirk Cousins back in the day. It's your guys that they're good. They'll win you a lot of games. They'll sell a decent amount of tickets, but are they really an elite quarterback in the AFC or NFC? No, I don't believe so. So if you're the Dolphins, you probably want to lose this game. Not if you're Mike McDaniels or Chris Greer, because that means you're probably out. But it does feel like all the pressure's on Baltimore tonight.
So I don't think Mike McDaniel or Chris Greer are in danger tonight because they got to bye in 2 weeks. So if you're going to fire him, you might do it at the bye week. But they do have an opportunity here to turn things around for their season. I love this point in the NFL year because this is when we start to see who's going to be there towards the end, which teams' slow starts were actually slow starts, or which teams are going to turn it around right now. The Ravens have a pretty cool opportunity tonight, and it's good that Lamar is coming back for a primetime game because Lamar makes the Ravens watchable.
And you start to wonder, so let's just say they lose this game tonight.
Yeah. Ravens or Dolphins?
Ravens. A lot of smoke about Mike Tomlin. People frustrated. Apparently, there's reports ownership is fed up in that division. There's been a lot of talk about Zach Taylor. Should he be fired for the Bengals? Does John Harbaugh start getting talked about? And I don't think this is fair because I think John Harbaugh is a fantastic head coach, just like Mike Tomlin. I think they would get scooped up very fast. But if you lose to a Miami team that has one of the worst defenses in the NFL, no Tyreek Hill, Tua had a good game last week, but the week before was unwatchable with like 3 interceptions. If you lose this game, considering your schedule, is there talk about John Harbaugh having a new change at the helm?
I think a lot of it is because Mike Tomlin has been with the Steelers for 18 seasons now. I think this is season number 18. John Harbaugh has been with the Ravens for 17. So those are the 2 longest tenured head coaches in the NFL. Anyone, I promise you, Sammy, if this show continues for 15 more years, which we hope it does, there's going to be talk from people around San Diego who are like, can we get these guys the hell out of here? Like, it's going to be happening. It's like, even if our defense is great, Sammy, even if we're consistently getting you to the postseason, people are going to be, can we get these guys the hell out of here? It's going to happen. So we'll see if we last that long. We'd be fortunate. All right, coming up next, Caleb Davis, who, if you don't know the name, he's the general manager of the Aztecs football program. Do you know what the general manager of a college football program does? Well, if not, you're going to find out coming up next. Plus, we got a pair of tickets to the Aztecs game homecoming this coming Saturday against Wyoming, 4:00 at Snapdragon Stadium. Stay tuned for both those things coming up next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This sport is sponsored by Mucinex 12-hour DM Thursday Night Football. Miami hosting the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson is back tonight for Baltimore. Baltimore 7.5-point favorite on the road despite the 2-5 record. Game gets going at 5:15. The point total is at 51.5. In some boxing news, Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao are in negotiations to hold another fight at the Sphere next year. Wow. Battle of the old guys. Say not today to cough and chest congestion with Mucinex 12-hour with just one pill. Mucinex 12-hour works continuously to break up mucus and move it up and out. Mucinex 12-hour, rid the congestion, kill the cough. Use as directed, kill the cough with Mucinex 12-hour DM.
San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then live from the Broken Yoke on the campus of San Diego State. They got interviews all day with a bunch of the Aztecs basketball guys, including Coach Dutcher. Right now, we are going to be joined by an Aztecs football guy. His name's Caleb Davis. If you haven't heard of him before, he's the general manager of Aztec Athletics. He was at Notre Dame as the director of recruiting. He comes over to the Mesa to help out Sean Lewis and the Aztecs football program as the general manager. Caleb, welcome to the show, man. How the hell are you?
Oh man, I'm living the absolute dream. I appreciate you guys for having me on.
Well, yeah, you guys got a 1-loss record right now, heading into the teeth of your schedule. Things are cooking over there at San Diego State football. Now, Caleb, for people that don't know what the general manager is going to do at the college football level, can you give us the quick elevator pitch for why San Diego State is spending money to bring your ass over from Notre Dame to San Diego State?
Absolutely. So I've been asked this so much that I've kind of tried to dumb it down and simplify it in the fact that my job is to implement Coach Lewis's vision and our vision on this program in every single facet every day. So where it's Coach's job to come up with a game plan, come up with a practice script, try to help us win football games, it's my job to deal with a lot of the things that maybe might be on a coach's plate, but he just can't focus on every single minute of every day. So really what it leads to is a lot of roster management decisions, budget allocation now that we can use revenue sharing dollars to compensate our athletes, and just recruiting and building relationships with people all across campus.
What's something, you kind of got into it there, but what's something at Notre Dame that you really took with from Notre Dame to San Diego State now?
I would say one of the biggest things actually was the need for relationships, because Notre Dame's a very, very particular place, special place where academics play such a vital role. And I was able to kind of see how those relationships, how building relationships within the admissions department and different people can help you kind of fight your battles towards getting kids into school and different things. So I took a lot of that and scaled it in whole different types of abilities to create these relationships, and took it to academics, to across campus, to donors, to player relationships, and kind of just try to use that everywhere.
Caleb Davis, general manager of San Diego State Aztecs football, joining us here on the show today. Caleb, tomorrow or Saturday, pretty special day for you, your first homecoming as the Aztecs general manager. Oh, yeah. What are you expecting on Saturday in terms of a crowd, in terms of pregame festivities? What do you guys have in the works?
Well, we are working on making history for homecoming. You know, this is a very, very special game, special season, but to have all these former alumni and all these former Aztecs come back home and celebrate with us, you know, we've been trying to push it out. We've been tracking towards a sellout here the last couple of weeks, and we're trying to, you know, build as big of an event as possible, because, you know, these kids have fought tooth and nail to get to this point, to be pushing on that AP top 25 ranking. So now we're trying to throw a party for these kids and create an environment where these fans want to be loud. These fans want to change the game. And, you know, they've done it thus far this season. So we've got the Common Kings coming out to perform pregame. I know last week there's a flash sale, and there's been a lot of things the athletic department's been doing to kind of build the best environment possible for these fans.
GoAztecs.com is where you buy those tickets at San Diego Sports 760. We're being joined by Caleb Davis, the athletic or the general manager of Aztecs football, with us. Look, Caleb, the team is 3-0 in conference, 6-1 on the season. To this point, it's been a complete 180, 360 from where the San Diego State football team was last year. Have they shown you what you need to see for them moving forward through the real teeth of their schedule, with a road trip to Hawaii still to come, with a home game against Boise State and the potential run at the Mountain West Championship, to show you that they got what it takes?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, now you can never get too high or too low in this profession. It's always what have you done for me lately? So I've been trying to remind the guys as much as possible, like, this is a talented team we're playing up against. Like, I think the outside media hasn't done a good enough job representing who Wyoming is and who Hawaii will be. So we just got to take it 1 week at a time, stack the weeks. We've been saying that ever since the Washington State loss. Is how can we rebound and ignore all the noise and just focus on going 1-0 every single week.
Caleb, Ben and I have been in the city for a long time. It feels like football's always been on the defensive side of the Mesa fantastic. This year, though, completely newfound offensive scheme. You got Denegal, Napier, Sutton, all these kind of top tier guys. Can you just speak to what it's like when you have a high powered offense? Because it feels like there's a buzz in the city that just maybe hasn't been there before.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it starts with some of these local guys choosing to either come home or stay home. So you get to see guys like Lucky Sutton, who's a San Diego born and raised kid, that engages the fan base even more. And Jaden Denegal, transferring home from Michigan, he was a Southern California kid. Jordan Napier, like, all these kids, they're from here, they want to be here, and they take so much more pride that when we are having the success, not only is it fun to watch, obviously, but it's fun because these fans have been watching the same kids since they were middle schoolers or high schoolers. And now to watch a kid like Lucky Sutton run for, I think, over 600 yards and I don't know how many touchdowns he has. Like, it's a blessing to see.
Caleb Davis, the general manager of Aztecs football, on with us today. Caleb, let's take it there, actually, because you look at your job specifically. Recruiting is going to be a huge part of that. NIL is going to be a huge part of that. San Diego is, we know, a hotbed of high school football talent with the programs like Cathedral Catholic. I don't know how many pros are in the league right now from there. Helix High, same thing. Yep. So you look at that, and now it's all about keeping San Diego high school talent home. And I know that's huge for Sean Lewis, the head coach of the program. What are the steps you're taking as general manager to make that happen?
Shoot, I think it starts from the grassroots level. Is just getting out in the community, having these local high schools make sure every January, every May recruiting period, like when we're on the road, we're going to be hitting our local high schools. I know Coach Lewis has been out to a couple Friday night games here on our bye weeks where he got to showcase, he got to see with some of our former players that played at these schools, and really, really build those connections with not just the kids, but the entire community. Because, I mean, it's never just one kid's decision to stay home or go to another school. There's a whole inner circle and support system around them. So as much as we can get out there, Coach Lewis, myself, our entire recruiting department, assistant coaches, it just helps breed a connection to the city.
It's been fun to see so far, man. You look at the Tano Latuli, Lucky Sutton, a bunch of guys on this team. The entire backfield, hell, is from San Diego high schools.
Oh, yeah.
Caleb, man, it's great getting to chat with you. I do wonder, it's been about a year since you moved to San Diego now, maybe a little bit more. What are some of your favorite restaurants, some of your favorite spots you've found so far?
Oh, gosh. See, I'm a homebody, so I don't like to go too far from home. And I live in an apartment complex right by the stadium, so right up Mission Gorge Road.
Sure.
So like that little subsection of like San Diego Brewing, there's a nice little Mexican spot, Picante Taqueria. Like those are my spots where I'll grab something on the way home, maybe stop in and hang out a little bit. So right in that area so far has been my favorite.
Those were two huge wins, Caleb. You just nailed the head on the hammer. I used to live right over there too. I actually just moved, but Picante was a normal hump for me. And San Diego Brewing Company, they got the Golden Tee in there. They got the arcade games. That place is awesome.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
You're doing San Diego right, my friend. Thank you for your time today, Caleb. Appreciate the hell out of you. I think I'm talking to you tomorrow too, over on Big Rich TD and Fletch. Great to get to know you a little bit more, and we'll see you soon.
Absolutely. Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. Caleb Davis, football general manager for San Diego State, joining us. GoAztecs.com is where you find the tickets. This Saturday is homecoming. Get out there, support the team. If you're not going to support them when they're 6-1, I don't know when you are going to support them. So here we go. Aztecs, Wyoming, this Saturday. JR Tolver and I will be out there at 2:00 in the yellow lot, which is right next to where Common Kings is going to be playing, doing some pregame entertainment for you out at that Riverwalk block party. So get out there early, support the team, take in some awesome music, San Diego music, and enjoy Saturday, which is going to be an excellent homecoming day. I like Caleb.
Hell yeah, man. Shout out to Caleb. He was great on here.
I feel like you could do that job, Sammy. You'd be good at it.
Oh, the GM of San Diego State?
Yeah.
I'd be cracking some skulls, man.
Look, I do think he has to do paperwork. I don't know if you could actually write with a pen and paper.
Not a big paperwork guy. Listen, San Diego State known for sports. No, I'm just kidding. We're not gonna go there before I get fired. But you know what I mean.
Sure.
They call San Diego State the Harvard of the West.
I know. Sammy, you're really digging yourself a hole over here. And
I said they call San Diego State the Harvard of the West.
Sammy is an Aztec for life. He had an excellent time in college. I'm sure we did have an excellent time in college. Here's one of the funniest kind of revelations I have working with Sammy Long. I do everything on this laptop that I have right in front of me. Literally, my entire life is on this laptop. When I'm home, the laptop is open and I'm working on it. When I'm on the road, the laptop is open. I'm working on it. That's how Sammy is just with his phone. I feel like everything you do, our entire rundown that you do is all done on your phone. Do you even use that computer in there for anything? I use it.
So the bosses got mad at me because they came rushing in one day and they were like, "Why do you have your computer?" And I was like, first off, like shout out to iHeart for giving us computers, but it's not better than my.
Look, I have 95 tabs open right now. If you could see,
like respectfully, with all due respect to Logitech, like we could upgrade and go with some Apple, some Mac. My computer at home is better than the Logitech.
Dude, this is a fantastic computer.
So I didn't activate it yet, and then they got mad at me because it did something to the system. So then I had to go set it up. It was a whole process. Yeah, computers are a little exhausting.
Sammy is the problem child of San Diego.
I'm not a big. I also don't know how to like type where it's like you are
a chicken pecker.
Yeah. Like I skip that. I don't know how to do cursive. I missed that in school.
I'm up over 70 words a minute, dude. I'm lightning fast. These fingers be moving.
I moved from Seattle to San Diego during cursive, and when they taught us how to type using the what's that thing they call where you do your
keyboard.
Well, I know a keyboard. I'm saying when your fingers are in the middle and you're supposed to like go up and down with certain fingers.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about right now. Home position on the keyboard?
No, you know what I'm saying? How they teach you. Text line, help me out. 70470. Start your message with team.
Mavis Beacon? I don't know what you're talking about.
No, you know what I'm talking about. Everyone on the stream knows. You know how like they taught you in school when you're supposed to type a certain way. You're supposed to put your finger in a certain spot and go up and down with certain fingers. I never learned that.
Typing. I think that's what it's called. It's just typing. You never had computer lab in school?
I think what I figured out though, I used to do essays. I would just write the essay on my phone, speaking into it.
That's the other thing he does. His entire update, the update that you hear at the top and the bottom of every hour, I see Sammy just walking around in his little booth back there, talking into his phone, and then all of a sudden it's written for. It's crazy.
His fingers, it's exhausting. I don't want tendonitis.
It's very different worlds that Sammy and I live in. All right, Sammy, we need a caller number because we have a pair of Aztecs tickets that Caleb just gave us that we're going to be giving away. What do you got? Caller number.
Let's do 11.
Caller number 11. I like it a lot. 877-767-4760. Sammy's going to have to type your name, so give him a couple minutes here because it's going to be a while. If you want to win a pair of tickets for homecoming, San Diego State, Wyoming, coming up at 4 o'clock on Saturday, call right now, 877-767-4760. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Spooky season is back on the iHeartRadio app. Get into the Halloween spirit and stream all of your favorite eerie hits, haunted classics, and chilling playlists totally commercial free. Whether you're throwing a monster mash or just love a good scare, the iHeartRadio app has the perfect soundtrack for your spooky season. Listen now, if you dare. Open the free iHeartRadio app and just search Halloween, as Halloween's getting ready for tomorrow. I don't know how often it happens on a Friday, but I feel like that is a good thing. All right, it is San Diego Sports 760. I'm going to say something here that maybe is a little bit risky. I don't want to piss anybody off, but here we go. For the first time since Game of Thrones was getting ready to release their final season, I feel the same feeling as I watched the Stranger Things final trailer for the first time today. Literally almost brought me to tears about how excited I am about how good this season is going to be, where every episode released is going to be over a movie in length, where every episode released has the budget of like a Marvel movie. If this thing lets me down, I don't know that there's any coming back from this. I don't know that a TV show will ever get me excited again. But for my money, Stranger Things has been the best thing running since like Breaking Bad. And if it F's up the final season, I'm going to be pissed.
I'm excited for Stranger Things. Stranger Things has been good.
It's been great.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. I will say I've been on record with this. I don't like the whole 3 different releases. I for one season, that kind of frustrates me a little bit. I get it. They're building up the drama, but I'm curious to see where they go. This is like an interesting, because
they're going to kill everybody. I'm already preparing myself.
It's funny how it started out as it was like just the kids from Stranger Things and they were nobodies. And now all of them are stars. Like big star, well, a couple of them. Millie Bobby Brown's a huge star, and then the kid Finn or whatever, the kid Joe Keery, whatever, the Steve in it.
Oh yeah, Steve Harrington.
Like,
it's been a perfect show up to this point. If they screw it up with the final season, I may riot.
Where does that rank all time?
For me, it's creeping, man. It has potential to knock off some big hitters. It has potential to knock off pretty much everything outside of Breaking Bad. I think will always hold my number 1 spot in terms of like dramatic shows, action shows that we were supposed to take serious. Like The Office will never be surpassed as my number 1 TV show of all time. Seinfeld may never be surpassed as my number 2. Curb may never be surpassed as my number 3. But if we're talking more serious shows, it's Breaking Bad. Game of Thrones for me has always been the 1-2. Sopranos is somewhere in there around 3. But if Stranger Things comes in with a banger of a final season and they don't disappoint us like some shows have in my past, it may be creeping past Game of Thrones.
You forgot Entourage in there.
Yeah, but Entourage is funny. It goes in the same category for me as
right. You have to kind of separate them because if you Breaking Bad, I think it's the best drama show of all time.
I'm a sitcom guy, dude. That's what I love. I love The Office, How I Met Your Mother, Parks and Rec. Like those are my shows. But if we're talking drama and something to really sink your teeth into, Breaking Bad has been my number 1 for a long time. Walking Dead used to be way up there, by the way. And
Walking Dead went on too long.
It jumped off a cliff and nosedived.
You know what
like
show?
The 4th season.
You know what show does not get enough love because it was on for years though? Is 24.
24 is great, dude. Jack Bauer is one of the best characters ever created. I would also say there's some other HBO shows that have been fantastic that I just don't think enough people watched. But Stranger Things is on the precipice of history here. And if they let me down, man, I'm going to be so pissed.
I don't think they will.
I haven't been this excited for a new TV show in a long, long time, or for a new season of.
When does it drop? Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving's the first 4, and then Christmas Day is another 3, and then the finale is getting a theatrical release and a Netflix release on the same day, which is New Year's Eve.
We'll definitely be tapped into that.
Whew. All right, yesterday we won money.
I didn't play Moneymaker coming in. Oh,
maybe that's good luck because we've been one and done quite a bit recently. So maybe to start
I've been
a new
on a little bit of a heater. I've won like 4 lineups in the last 2 weeks.
You sure have. Maybe we just needed some Rocky Like a Hurricane to continue this streak. Sammy Long, if you will, smash it.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money and you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance.
Say that to me and his money.
With long shots.
Allow me to do a little Don Orsillo here. Malik Monk, more than 12.5 points. Pascal Siakam, more than 21.5 field goals attempted. Austin Reeves, more than 20.5 field goals attempted. All down by way of the long. That was bad. I feel bad about that. It wasn't good. Never try to imitate Don Orsillo. He's the GOAT for a reason.
It's okay. You tried. Sorry.
Sammy won yesterday is what I'm trying to say. Where are we going today?
All right. We got two. We have 2 NFL picks and 2 NBA picks right now. I might make a game time decision in a minute. to scrap the last one. All right, we're going to the NFL. Derrick Henry, our very own Stan Lazinski yesterday kind of gave us this tip, and I completely agree with him.
Big Stan?
Derrick Henry, more than 89.5 rushing yards. We're going to two things. Vegas is telling you they think this game is a 7.5 point in favor of Baltimore, which means that they're playing with a lead. So where do they go? Derrick Henry. Everyone's focused on Lamar Jackson, still coming back from injury. I think that's going to limit the amount of times Lamar Jackson is running tonight, considering this is his first game back. Derrick Henry, the Miami Dolphins run defense has been god-awful. One of the worst in the league. Bradley Chubb, questionable tonight. Jalen Phillips, possibly on the trade block. Don't want to get him injured. So more than 89.5 rush yards for Derrick Henry. I think he has a big night. Gets after that Miami defense in Miami. On the other side, Malik Washington, more than 31.5 receiving yards. This is a guy who is a burner. I believe he ran like a 4.2 at the combine. Has really had an elevated role ever since Tyreek Hill went out with injury. The Baltimore secondary is bad. Like it's really bad. Honestly, the game against Chicago last week, they only allowed 16 points. A lot of that came off a Nate Wiggins interception in the end zone. I think Malik Washington at that number 2 spot, they're going to get him the ball because Jalen Waddle is going to be keyed on all night. I bet Wiggins goes with him. The number 2 corner spot for the Ravens is a disaster. Malik Washington catches a bomb tonight, more than 31.5 receiving yards. All right, let's head to the NBA. One of Fletch's favorite bets, Jimmy Butler, more than 7.5 free throws attempted. He was very kind to us last week with this. Milwaukee, Golden State, fun game tonight. Golden State's been on a tear. This team is really playing connected and well. Why I think he's getting the free throw line, this is going to be a part of the Steve Kerr game plan. Get after Giannis. Giannis is probably going to be checking in on Jimmy Butler a little bit. You got to get him in foul trouble. Giannis is the whole team for Milwaukee. If Giannis doesn't have 40 points, they lose. And sometimes that's not even big enough because the guard at the guard spot simply for the Bucks isn't great. So either they're going to try to go get Giannis in trouble or none of these guards can hang with him. My 4th pick of the night, San Antonio, Miami, another fun game on the slate. Bam Adebayo, more than 21 points. Listen, Wemby's unbelievable. He should be the front runner for MVP right now, but I think there's still some concerns defensively with Wemby because he's such a great offensive player. Not that he's bad defensively because he's an excellent shot blocker, but let's not forget that Bam Adebayo has been one of the premier centers in the league for a long time now. We're going heavy on the Miami picks tonight between Miami and then the Dolphins. Bam Adebayo, more than 21 points. Again, thinking of the game plan from Eric Spoelstra, get Wemby in foul trouble. How do you do that? Get the ball to the paint and Bam Adebayo, more than 21 points for Bam Adebayo.
What if every shot just gets blocked?
Well, then we got to live with that.
But that's what Wemby does.
Yeah, but he does it a lot to guards.
All right.
Bam Adebayo is an elusive center.
I got faith in Sammy.
I got a feeling on this one. Derrick Henry, more than 89.5 rush yards for the Baltimore Ravens. And Malik Washington, number 2 receiver for the Finns, more than 31.5 receiving yards. Jimmy Butler, more than 7.5 free throws attempted against the Milwaukee Bucks. Bam Adebayo, more than 21 points. That's going to pay you, if you bet $20, $200.
I'm in with it, and I'm power playing it because Sammy's on a hot streak. So let's see if it can continue into tonight. Nothing with Lamar Jackson. I'm a little surprised about that.
I think they want us to go Lamar Jackson. That's why I'm going Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry is heavily utilized tonight against an atrocious Miami run defense.
My favorite pick of yours, by the way, is the Malik Washington pick. I think that's going to absolutely smash.
I think this could hit in the first drive of the game.
Well, you think about game script also. If Baltimore gets out to a lead in this one and is doing the Baltimore thing where they just try to eat up all the clock in the world, every time Tua touches the ball, he's going to be throwing it. Malik Washington has found a way into the target share. So, yes, I love that pick. It's a good one.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm excited about this lineup.
All right, see if Sammy stays hot. We'll see if that one carries on tonight. $200 would be pretty nice heading into a weekend, man. All right, it is San Diego Sports 760. We got a whole nother hour of this coming up next. And coming up in hour number 2, I was in attendance last night as San Diego State beat USD. I don't even remember what the final score was, but it was a lot to a little. So I'll give you some notes on some of the newest Aztecs that you haven't seen yet coming up next. It's San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
This sport is sponsored by Mucinex Kickstart Thursday Night Football. Lamar Jackson back for the Baltimore Ravens. 7.5-point road favorites in Miami taking on the Dolphins. Per reports, Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer, the GM's jobs are safe for now. We'll see what happens after tonight if they were to lose. The total is set at 51.5. In the NBA tonight, good game. Warriors in Milwaukee taking on the Bucks. Golden State currently a 2.5-point road favorite. That game is going at 5 o'clock. Warriors are currently 4-1. Woke up feeling like cough, congestion, headache was coming on. Have big plans this weekend? Take Mucinex Kickstart All-in-One and Done Relief. With a morning jolt of instant cooling sensation, Mucinex Kickstart for relief with a kick at your favorite retailer. Use as directed.
It's hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you. If you're just joining us for the first time ever, my name is Ben Fletcher. That is Sammy Long. We do this show every day from noon to 2. We love doing it. We love talking sports, and we love for you to be as big a part of it as possible. So text the show, 70470. Start your message with team. Leave us a talkback on the talkback mic on the free iHeartRadio app. Just search San Diego Sports 760. While you're listening to the station, there's a little red microphone button you can hit. Leave us a 30-second voicemail. We like to look through them. We play some of them. Join the show that way, any way you can. We get texts like this from the 615. For what it's worth, I would still listen to you guys 15 years down the road. But John and Jim, well, if I were Jim Russell, I'd start filling out those target applications. 615, be nice to Jim. That's mean.
John said, get Jim some Mucinex after my ad read.
That's mean. Jim is so good.
We love Jim Russell.
Totally not sick sounding all the time.
It is okay.
He's been sick for a month.
I know we love Jim Russell. Jim Russell's the best, but like, what is with he can't shake the cold? And then I talk to you and we see him for like 3 minutes before they go on air and we're off air.
Sure.
He sounds normal. And then I'm listening because I'm a fan of the show. I love listening to John, Jim, and Brent. And then all of a sudden I hear they're like, so the Padres. I'm like, what is going on?
It's just Jim being Jim. That's part of why we love him. Jim's the best. 615. You shut your mouth.
I hope he's not coughing all over the broken yoke later.
Yeah. Speaking of which, if you want to go take in some John and Jim live, you can today from 2 to 6. They're down at the Broken Yoke at San Diego State. They're going to be interviewing Dutch, BJ Davis, Miles Bird.
If someone dropped off a bottle of Mucinex, I would laugh my ass off and just put it on the table and said, Jim, this is for you.
It would help him out a lot.
I think it'd be a very kind gesture.
I think it'd be funny as hell. All right, it is San Diego Sports 760. We'll get to the big 3 in just a second. Did want to say, because we brought up BJ Davis, who's going to be one of the guys interviewed with John and Jim today, as the Aztecs basketball season is legitimately just around the corner. Next Tuesday's first home game out at Viejas Arena. Well, I was at Viejas Arena last night for the scrimmage against USD, and BJ Davis turned my head a couple times last night. He's always been fast. He's always been great defensively. But last night, there was a couple of completely broken down plays when they had some of the, I hesitate to even call it the second string, but the second group of starters, because it feels like they do have 10 deep on this year's team, where there were just broken plays. And then all of a sudden the ball pops out and it's BJ Davis wide open in the corner. His 3 balls looking great. Some other huge takeaways I got from last night. Pharaoh Compton might live on SportsCenter this year. I haven't been watching today on SportsCenter, but there was absolutely a SportsCenter worthy play last night from Pharaoh Compton, who's a true sophomore, who was a 4-star recruit coming out of Las Vegas, comes to San Diego State, was good last year. I remember that Houston game in Las Vegas last year. Pharaoh Compton won them that basketball game. Well, last night he put someone on an absolute poster. I don't think that the poor kid from USD has recovered yet because it was bad. This was like next level LeBron prime posterization from Pharaoh Compton. It was kind of amazing last night. The entire place went nuts. But Pharaoh's athleticism is really jumping off the court. And then guys like Miles Bird and Magoon Guath weren't playing last night because they're both dealing with injuries and there's no need to push them right now. But someone who was playing and making a huge impact is Taj DeGorville, who was the running mate of Pharaoh Compton when they were in high school together in Las Vegas. They were both playing AAU together at the time. Now they're both at San Diego State. Taj DeGorville looks to me like he's grown a couple of inches. He's gotten taller, and he is so comfortable and slowed down within this system where at times last year it felt like he was kind of pushing the pace a little bit. He has really settled down, and man, he looks good. He made a couple of threes last night, was in total control of the offense. They ran a lot of looks last night where Taj was playing as a true point guard, and Sean Newman Jr., who transferred in, was actually playing as a 2 guard. And the offense was really in rhythm when that was happening. I think Taj is going to take a big step forward this year. and kind of be one of the main leaders of this offense, at least the facilitator of this offense. And then having Reese Waters back just on the court with this team, you forget how talented Reese is on both sides of the court. But he got to the line, I think 4 or 5 times, made every free throw he shot. He is constantly pushing the pace, is that sort of attacking dribbler where if he gets the ball on the perimeter, it's never going to be a wasted ball handling moment for Reese. He's always going to try to push the pace inside the paint, and he was really great. LZ Harrington, I talked about a little bit earlier, the true freshman this year out of St. John Bosco. He plays so smooth. It's like the entire offense is running in one speed, one set, and then LZ's kind of doing his own thing, but it works within the confines of it. And for a freshman to have that confidence to be able to play at your own pace like that, it's not something you usually see with a freshman. Last guy I'll highlight before we get to the big three, Tay Simmons is a true freshman this year. He looks like he's about 26 years old, if I'm being completely honest. Tay Simmons is a grown-ass man. But he is 6'7", 6'6", somewhere in there. Oh, I said the word 6'7". You got to do the hand thing. But Tay Simmons is one of those guys who has the body of almost Matt Bradley, Matt Mitchell, that type of Aztec player who, maybe not this year. This year he's there to rebound. This year he's there to maybe pick up a few fouls, play 5-6 minutes a game. Heading into the next couple of seasons, if they can keep him here, is going to be one of those Aztecs we talk about.
I'm excited to see who, and it's a good problem that Coach Dutcher and the staff has to deal with, is who's going to close the game. Like we're going to see, or there's so many options. Last year, you kind of knew who the 5 were, just because I think that they had limited options in terms of who's a go-to scorer. Because outside of Bird and Boyd, not taking a shot at anyone else, just either guys were too young or maybe a little inconsistent. This year, there's so many guys on this Aztecs roster that you could go to for the last shot. Who's closing the game? We know that Brian Dutcher's defense is fantastic. Are you going a little bit more defensive heavy and kind of going with 1 or 2 scores? I'm super stoked for this season. I think the Aztecs are gonna have a legit roster.
Gun to my head right now, it's Reese Waters. He's the guy who's taking that shot at the end of the game. We haven't seen Miles Bird play yet. He didn't play against UCLA, didn't play against USD. We imagine he's back on the court next week when they take on Long Beach. But gun to my head, it's Reese Waters as of right now. He looked like the most in control, maybe most talented, definitely the most experienced guy on this Aztecs basketball team. It was fun to watch last night, man. College basketball is my top dog. You all know that. But getting back I was sitting with John Schaefer last night. We were watching from courtside and just watching all of that happen in front of us. It's so great to have college basketball back. And this is going to be a special run, man. I don't know how far in March Madness, but this is a March Madness team. I feel confident about saying that. All right, Sammy, let's get to the big three of hour number 2. Go ahead. Smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
It is hour 2 here. Sammy Long takes through the top stories of the world in the day of sports every single hour. Sammy, where are we going with hour 2?
All right, we're starting with college football. Interesting story out of Louisiana.
Oh, my God.
So I don't know if people saw this, and it got a little political, but it was so LSU, Brian Kelly fired, 10-year, $95 million contract, $54 million remaining on his buyout. So they're paying him no matter what. So the Louisiana governor, Jeff Landry, told reporters Wednesday that the LSU athletic director, Scott Woodward, won't be involved in selecting the LSU Tigers' next football coach, and took a shot at him basically for raising prices while the team was losing. Then goes on to say he doesn't have animosity towards Brian Kelly, but then seems to bury Brian Kelly the entire press conference. Reaction to the situation, as well as Matt Rule getting an extension at Nebraska. It is interesting how these big openings of Florida, Penn State, LSU, all these kind of next tier programs are locking up their head coaches so they don't jump ship.
By the way, Matt Rule's extension was through 2032. They're talking like an 8-year extension. That's crazy, man. 7 years. Math is hard. But craziness for Matt Rule. Now, the LSU thing. So the governor of Louisiana put his foot down and said, I'm the one making the next hire. I don't know if he said he's making the next hire, but he said the athletic director will not be making the next hire.
The board of directors, but he's, I believe, on the board. I'm not sure, but
do we realize the equivalent there? That's Gavin Newsom saying, I will not be hiring the next head coach of whatever at San Diego State. Like, do we realize how crazy that is? That'd be Gavin Newsom saying, yeah, J.D. Wicker, get the hell out of here. I'm making the next pick. No, that's insane. This is nut. I've never seen this before in sports.
I've never seen in college football so many big-time coach. Like, listen, in college football, if you're not winning and you're in a big-time program, you're going to get fired. That's just how it is. But it's usually been like the thinking with USC and Lincoln Riley. Now USC's had a better season, and there's a big game against Nebraska, ironically, with Matt Rule. Was that USC wouldn't fire Lincoln Riley because the buyout's so big and the recruiting class is so good next year. Well, look at James Franklin. James Franklin had almost $50 million left. Brian Kelly, $54 million. Billy Napier was coming off a win at Florida. They clipped him.
And it kind of seems like they're all just going to be switching spots.
Yeah, like I UCLA, I think, is a big opening. I wouldn't be surprised. James Franklin's been linked there. It's in terms of Matt Rule getting an extension, it is funny. Like Kurt Signetti for Indiana got an 8-year, $92.5 million deal single-handedly because James Franklin got fired and they were nervous he was going to go there. Same with Matt Rule getting an extension. Just college football. So what have you done for me lately, sport? And if you ain't producing and you got one of those big-time jobs, good luck to you.
It's a good time to be one of the younger guys coming up in college football right now. It feels like there's some opportunities to be had. All right, Sammy, what's next?
All right, offensive coordinator John Morton for the Detroit Lions says he has, quote, failed in getting Jameson Williams the ball enough. He had 0 catches last week. Who is the best team in the NFC North, the Packers or the Lions?
It's the Lions for me, the roster. I know what happened at the beginning of the year. I'm going to call that a blip. These two teams play each other again. Is it Thanksgiving when they play next?
Fantastic Thanksgiving slate, by the way.
It's going to be unreal. I'm so glad we don't have to make a pick on Thanksgiving. Well, I'm really sad we don't have to make a pick, but I'm glad we don't because it'd be impossible to choose from. The Lions have the better roster. I also am mad at the Lions offensive coordinator for not giving Jameson Williams the ball more because I have him in fantasy. It is weird, but they have this plethora of riches. And the way the Lions are built is they are going to run the football until running the football stops working. Well, right now you have Jahmyr Gibbs, who is playing at an all-pro level. You have David Montgomery, who's really damn good himself, and you don't really have a need for more than Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving core. And by the way, you still have to feed Sam Laporta. And by the way, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get 5 or 6 catches a game. So it's tough in this system to have another guy like Jameson Williams, who could probably be a high-end wide receiver too elsewhere in this league, but the Detroit Lions offense doesn't really need it. It's a weird spot for them to be in.
It is. It's almost like when you have a embarrassment of riches, your job gets harder. It's like, what do you do? Because Jameson Williams is going, hey, I'm a number 1 receiver at a lot of places.
And he's an incredible deep route runner. That's where he's great at. Those 15, 20-yard slants, those over the middle crossing routes in the middle of the field, but down the field a little bit. Well, this Lions offense is constituted to dump off to Jahmyr Gibbs to pass short to Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go Detroit. I think Detroit has the higher upside. Maybe you give the Cowboys, or not the Cowboys, the Packers up until this point over the Detroit Lions, but I do think Detroit has a higher upside because of the amount of weapons on offense and the defense. It's an excellent division because there's really not a horrible team in it. The Bears are whatever, the Vikings are whatever, but neither of those teams are flat out awful. The Lions are, it's just like, what's the identity? Ben Johnson's identity when he was the offensive coordinator was, I'm an innovative play caller. I'm one of the most intriguing play callers in all of football. That's what I do. Is it a running team? Because at its core, what Dan Campbell wants to do is be a running football team. But usually running football teams don't have 2 number 1 wide receivers on the outside. It's kind of, in a weird way, it's kind of a Philly problem. It's like they have such talented receivers, but at its core, why Philly won the Super Bowl last year, it is a dominant running of the football team, hard smash football team. But then you got receivers on the outside who are like, whoa. I'm not getting paid $20 million, $30 million to just sit here and run routes and run some cardio. So I think it's an interesting option. The NFC is so stacked. I think the Packers and Lions could be a threat going forward.
All right, you got one more we can squeeze in here quick?
Yeah, I think we can get to it on the other side, but I'll tease it. I was going to get to what is more likely, the Colts to get the number 1 seed or Steelers to win the division?
I like it a lot. Let's get to it on the other side. Both are great questions, man. Woo! That's going to be fun. All right, that's coming up next. If you have thoughts on it, text us 70470. Start your message with the word team. Get ready if you want. There's still time here. You can get down to the Broken Yoke on campus at San Diego State. John and Jim are having a little Aztecs basketball party there. Going to be good food. You can chat with some of the Aztecs players and coaches as well. This is San Diego Sports 760. We got Brian Adams tickets for you on the other side, plus that NFL conversation coming up next on the live iHeartRadio app. Hey, we got 13 chances for you to win $1,000 every single weekday with the bonus bucks giveaway every hour from 6 a.m. through 6 p.m. Listen for the keyword, enter it at sportssd.com. Your next chance to win $1,000 coming up at 1 o'clock. This has not happened to me in a long, long time, but I just choked on water and almost died.
Okay, I was like wondering what's going on in there.
I saw my life flash before my eyes. Sammy, you were in it. The Wizard of Oz was in it, and you were there, and you were there, and you were there. It was nuts, man. That was bad.
Let's just take a minute. Let's just relax. Let's take a deep breath.
I really thought I was gonna die for a second there. You ever had that where it's like all of a sudden you're like you can't breathe?
Yeah, well, that's the worst if you like choke on something. I always get paranoid of like when no one's around, you're like eating too fast. You're like, I can't Heimlich myself.
Right. And if it's water, like you choke on water, the last thing you want to do is drink more water, but that's kind of what you have to do.
I don't think though you can die from choking on water because it's going to go down.
Sammy, I'm telling you, it almost just happened.
No, I know, but like I don't think that's
pipe. Like my throat was closed in on itself.
If there's any like scientists or doctors listening, 70470, start your message with team. Outside of drowning, I don't think you can choke on water and die.
That's what drowning is. You're choking on water.
Well, yeah, and I'm saying, but you were just drinking out of a little sippy cup.
Yeah,
like,
out of this little sippy cup, Sammy, I just almost died.
This is what he choked on, stream.
I had a near-death experience, and I think we all need to be very aware of that, okay? Gee.
I spilled coffee on myself the other day. Does that make me a burn victim?
Way to have a little bit of sympathy and empathy, Sammy Long. Golly, man. Crap, dude. Almost died in here. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. My name is Ben Fletcher. That is Sammy Long. We actually like each other, believe it or not. But looking forward to this weekend in the NFL. Sammy, you brought up a really good point. This Colts-Steelers game has some wide-reaching ramifications in it, depending on who wins this game. Because you look from the Steelers' point of view, and the game is in Pittsburgh. Steelers, all of a sudden, they thought this division was just kind of theirs. Joe Burrow goes down early in the season with an injury. Ravens' entire team, including their quarterback, gets hurt early on. They go to 1-5. Steelers and Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin, I'm sure, were kind of thinking in the back of their heads, oh, if we just hold serve, we could coast to an AFC North championship this year, get into the postseason and see what we can do. Not so fast. That Steelers lost last week, paired with the Ravens appearing to get a little bit better and their schedule lightening up in a big way. All of a sudden, the Ravens are minus money to make the postseason in general. Steelers, really tough matchup against the Colts this week. All of a sudden, the Steelers are looking in their rearview mirror like, boys, we better step on the gas. This is danger time for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I'm disappointed in the Pittsburgh Steelers too, because I really have felt like that they could be a team in the AFC that not that I want this, obviously I want my Chiefs to win, but I thought in the AFC, like this is a team that could give teams a lot of problems because it is like, it's again, not being a Steeler fan, but for Steeler fans, it's like, I haven't seen a franchise and an organization that maybe has had a better roster over the last 10 years and has been so bad from quarterback play. And if you would have shown people the numbers heading into this week about Aaron Rodgers been pretty damn good. Like Aaron Rodgers has actually been a pretty solid player for them in the defense where all the money spent at is why this team isn't winning. I'm kind of surprised that Vegas is telling you something. The Colts are only 3.5 point favorites. Now they've been blowing everyone out. So if you look at the rest of these teams, you go, oh, and especially the way they performed the second half, I think Vegas is telling you this is going to be a close game, especially after Pittsburgh kind of getting embarrassed last week. I mean, looking at, like what's more likely, the Steelers to win the division or the Colts to have the number 1 seed. The Colts got Pittsburgh, Atlanta, KC, Texans, Jags, Seahawks, Niners, Jags, Texans. So that's a pretty manageable schedule for the Colts. You don't think so?
Well, they got the Niners, so no, it's not going to be that easy.
Is anyone going to be alive on the team by the time?
Hey, Niners are reportedly very interested in making a move for Trey Hendrickson, who, by the way, is also hurt.
Sorry,
you were really cooking there, and I just messed you up. I'm sorry.
Like Daniel, see the Colts. I got to give credit to the Colts because I was like the first one of the season. I was like, yeah, right, okay, the Colts.
Dude, they're 7-1, and they're beating everybody by 20+ points.
That's in a weird way that gives me some concern. In an odd way, people are going to go, why would beating a team so bad give you concern? In the playoffs, we've seen this every year. In Baltimore, who's playing tonight, has been a massive victim of this. Baltimore, for years, destroys everyone, runs them out of the. I mean, it doesn't even look like it looks like a professional team playing a damn near college team. And then in the playoffs, you're going to get to a point where it's going to be a tough game and you have to convert that 4th and 4, or everything's not clicking because the Colts defense has not been great so far, but they haven't faced a lot of offenses where they've been tested. I mean, even the Chargers, who was super banged up, did score a lot late in that game. It was because they lit up the defense so bad. You're going to be facing better defenses in the postseason. I got to give the Colts credit because of what they've done so far, but I'd like to see them go on the road here because this Pittsburgh team is going to be pissed off after what happened Sunday night.
Here's the benefit for teams like, let's say, the Ravens in the AFC, who are 2-5 right now, and they're working their way back into postseason contention. In the AFC, it feels wide open for the 3 wild card spots. I understand that the Chiefs, Chargers, and Bills have them right now, but you feel like there's going to be some shakeup near the top with the leaders of the divisions, and all of a sudden things are going to widen up in a big way. And the bottom of the AFC is really not even competitive. You look at the Titans, Jets, Dolphins, who we'll see if the Dolphins can pull a miracle tonight, but Titans, Jets, Dolphins, Browns, Raiders, Bengals, even I'm going to throw in there because they don't have Joe Burrow, are non-competitive. No one's chasing you down from behind.
Right.
Whereas in the NFC, outside of the Saints and the Giants, and even the Giants, you can make a little bit of an argument for, there's a lot of teams who can win games. Cardinals, Commanders, Vikings, Falcons, Cowboys, Panthers, Bears are all the non-playoff teams, quote unquote, as of right now. All those teams can win big.
And maybe we can get into this more on the other side, but like you look at the AFC, you go, okay, so the Colts division, the AFC South, the only teams competing for the Titans are obviously not a playoff team. Houston could be, but from what we've seen so far, unless they go on a little bit of a run, I'm not buying it. Jacksonville is the only other team in that division that could be challenging for a playoff spot. The AFC West could legit have 3 teams in the postseason. The AFC North, I mean, I have a hard time believing the Bengals are going to get in. Maybe they go on a run with the Ravens, as you mentioned tonight, getting a win. And then outside of the Patriots and Buffalo, I don't think Miami or the Jets are getting in. So, I mean, the AFC West could legit have 3 teams from this thing and offer some ability for some teams to get in there at the end. But the NFC is like, that is a crapshoot.
It is. And the NFC is good 1 through 12 right now, whereas the AFC is probably good 1 through 8 right now.
Definitely more top heavy. The NFC is way deeper this year.
Way deeper. And you got a ton of good teams. And who knows, man, this is going to be chaos. And trade deadline, I actually think it's going to be pretty active this year. We always think that heading into the NFL trade deadline. It rarely is. This year, I think you could see a Jacoby Myers on the move, Trey Hendrickson on the move. Breece Hall. The door does not seem to have been closed somehow on Myles Garrett, even though I don't see it happening. But there's a lot of guys this year who could potentially be on the move.
We have some scientists and doctors reaching out to us right now for some medical advice for Fletch.
Choking on water? Dude, I almost died, Sammy. That was very, very serious.
The text line has some professional terms for it.
All right, well, let's get to it on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760. We also have Brian Adams tickets to give away on the other side. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by King's Hawaiian Sliders. Lamar Jackson is back tonight on Thursday Night Football, taking on the Miami Dolphins in Miami. Dolphins currently 7.5-point favorites with the point total set at 51.5. That game is going on Amazon Prime at 5:15. And per Kevin Acee, Albert Pujols interviewed for 9.5 hours yesterday with the San Diego Padres. Still have not filled that managerial position yet. Eli Manning reminds you there's nothing like football and King's Hawaiian Sliders. There's something about those soft, fluffy, irresistible King's Hawaiian Sliders that make them a winner on game day. Pick them up this weekend in the bakery or deli section of your grocery store. King's Hawaiian, there's nothing like it.
San Diego Sports 760. We only got about 30 minutes left on the show today, so I did want to throw this out to the text line and see what we can get. We got a bunch of great texts in there. What are some awesome things you can get done in 9.5 hours? We should have had that going all show long. That was my mistake, man.
What are they talking about for 9.5 hours?
That's what I'm saying. Like, how often can you go through the same baseball question? 9.5 hours is nuts. Or was this Preller and whoever was in this meeting, because we honestly don't know. Preller doesn't have a contract extension yet. But whoever was in this meeting, what are they talking about for 9.5 hours with Albert Pujols? And was it done intentionally to get him to miss World Series coverage?
I could do the interview in 5 minutes. You know what my question would be?
Do you want to win?
A, do you want to win? And number two, what are you going to do to help the Stars actually produce in the postseason different than how previous managers have? Elevator pitch me.
You know, you could watch Titanic twice and still have time to argue about whether Jack could fit on the door in 9.5 hours. You can watch the majority of all 3 Lord of the Rings movies. I think you would bail out.
Could you
somewhere
watch
around movie
all
3.
3 Godfathers in that time?
Maybe. Maybe. There's a lot you could do in 9.5 hours.
9.5 hours. Like, guys, what are we getting into? Like, what? Like, listen.
You could try intermittent fasting.
You could intermittent fast.
9.5 hours.
They're probably like downtown, some super bougie restaurant.
What's the drive to Vegas from here? Like 5 hours?
You get to Vegas?
But I'm thinking you might be able to get there, throw some money in a machine, and come back.
No, it's like 5.5. So that'd be tough unless
Depending
you're
on
going
traffic. If you were to time it right, go middle of the night, you could get there in 4.5 hours.
The text line is responding to last segment. If you didn't hear it, Fletch almost choked on water.
I did choke on water, Sammy. I almost died is how that actually worked.
And I
didn't almost choke on water. What are you saying, dude?
I was wondering if, like, because Fletch said I almost died. I said, you can't die from just choking on drinking water.
You absolutely can. It's happened before.
760 says it's called aspiration and can lead to pneumonia.
Thank you. It's a serious thing. Pneumonia kills more people every year than a lot of things. I'm sure, Sammy, probably.
A different 760 says our PSA announcement, you can self-Heimlich to stay alive, dude. And then 615 says, I'm shocked all the doctors and scientists listening to this show haven't reached out yet.
All right, 615 is taking some shots today, and I don't know if I'm liking this. I'm pretty sure it's Budweiser Scott. Hey, you're a Dolphins fan, dude. They suck. All right?
Listen. First off, there's plenty of doctors and scientists like doing open heart surgery, and they're like, hold on, shut up. I got to hear Sammy's take on why Josh Allen's legacy.
Yeah, no one's saying that because your take is so biased.
They're like, how does it affect Josh Allen's legacy?
You know
who
loves to hear Sammy talk about Josh Allen? Other Chiefs fans. It's you and Nick Wright. It's the same BS coming out of your mouth.
Someone, I mean, literally, they're up there in the hospital getting ready for surgery. They're listening to us in the waiting rooms.
All right, we got a text from the 619 here about the World Series saying, with the Padres out, could there be a more perfect situation with the Dodgers, who were all but predicted to win the World Series, and a dynasty team to get zipped on Friday and sent home losers with all that star power and money wasted, and then to watch Dave Roberts have to do a post-loss interview and smugly explain how his team lost? Cannot wait. And Blue Jays still got to get it done. It feels like the pressure is on the Blue Jays now, who had been cast off. Steve Hartman comes on our show. Man, we should have cashed that bet, Sammy, when I said it on air on Friday. We should have put the money down on the Blue Jays because Steve said he fully guarantees a Dodgers victory, that the Blue Jays have 0% chance. And whenever Steve Hartman is that in on something, it's going the opposite way.
Well, we're going to talk to Steve tomorrow before the game, so we'll see what he thinks. That's the one thing for the Dodgers. Now, all signs are pointing to Toronto winning this series. The bats look lifeless for the Dodgers. They look shell-shocked, especially after giving up those 2 home runs in the first 2 batters yesterday. The one thing I will say for everyone who's going like, oh, this thing's done, and I do think the Toronto certainly has a massive edge. There is a difference between, hey, we're on the road in Los Angeles and the goal was really to get one and all the pressure's on LA. Well, now there's not a lot of pressure on LA because LA is expected to kind of get mopped. The series price is -255, almost a 2.5 to 1 favorite for Toronto. We'll see if Toronto can kind of back it up. They probably do because I get the more concerning thing for the Dodgers is this: the starting pitching can win them game 6 and game 7, but the bats have been bad, not just for the last 2 games. They've been bad the whole postseason. They have had moments of excellent play from their hitters, but a majority of the postseason has been bad. Remember game 1 against the Brewers? They won 1-0 because Freddie Freeman hit a home run. Like, this is not a team that's putting up 8 runs a game and then just has gone through a little bit of a slump. Unless the hitters get this thing turned around fast, Toronto Blue Jays is going to win a World Series.
All right. I've now attempted to get ChatGPT to give us some more things you could do in 9.5 hours. Should we see what the internet is telling us, Sammy?
What do they say? What are
you could finally clean your garage, then immediately lose your car keys in the garage. That's not great. ChatGPT, come on. Fall in love, get ghosted, and text. No worries, like you meant it. Sammy, 9.5 hours.
9.5 hours? That feels a little.
You're still looking for Mrs. Long? 9.5 hours. That's time to find her, baby.
Yeah, but not to get. Well, I guess you could ghost in 9.5 hours.
Sure. If anyone could do it, Sammy, it's you. I have full faith in that statement. Binge every Dateline episode until you start suspecting your own dog. Watch Shark Tank long enough to convince yourself your idea for edible flip-flops is genius. All these things can be done in 9.5 hours.
Like, on a real note, what are the Padres doing? Like, either hire the guy or don't. Per reports that Albert Pujols was frustrated that he didn't get the Angels job. That's like per reports he wanted to go to the Angels.
He was supposed to be on Fox's broadcast for the World Series, and he wasn't because he was spending 9.5 hours with the Padres.
Also, it's like, so Niebla, Flaherty, and then
Flaherty, who, by the way, for the last 2 now managerial hires, has been AJ Preller's top choice.
The problem with Flaherty is he's not a sexy hire. That doesn't do anything.
You know all about that.
That doesn't do anything for nationally. Like, that doesn't, like, Albert Pujols, despite what people may think. Steve Hartman came on our show, said it's a disastrous hire. And I'm not going to say, like, Albert Pujols is just a name people know. He has no managerial experience. Is he really going to get the offense in check? How is he going to maintain the bullpen? Now, I get it's a little bit different now because analytics really kind of maintain the way for what pitchers are coming into the game, left, righty matchups. But it just feels like if you're not going to hire this guy, like, at what point what are we doing here? Like, why do you keep interviewing him?
So the latest from AC yesterday afternoon said pitching coach Ruben Niebla, former Padres catcher and current Rangers advisor Nick Hundley, and future Hall of Famer Albert Pujols are all finalists for the position, according to sources. But the Padres want to be very, very secretive with their managerial hire.
Because
very secretive has the entire country knowing how long you spent with one managerial hire candidate.
Well, and Flaherty, as well as Niebla, the questions go, well, what's different than Schilt? Like, that's what's going to be asked. So if Mike Schilt couldn't get it done and Mike Schilt's out, and that's a whole story.
I think we're all thinking way too much about this. AJ Preller, if it is AJ Preller pulling the trigger on this one, is going to do the AJ Preller thing. It's probably a name we haven't heard yet. That would be my guess. That would be very on brand for AJ Preller.
Well, they should go get Bruce Bochy, but again,
of course they should.
They're not going to pay the money, and with the lockout looming.
Well, does Bruce want this job? If you're Bruce Bochy, do you want this job?
Well, we also assume that the Padres job is very attractive.
I don't know what it is.
Like, on paper, you would look at the other openings. You would go, the Padres job is very attractive because they do have the most talent of any of the openings. You could maybe argue Baltimore because they have a lot of young talent on that team, but they really underperformed last year. But are we over evaluating that? And what's going to happen with AJ Preller? Like, announce an extension or do something about it, because this is crazy. This just whole in limbo thing where it's since the end of the season, it's just like, it's like they haven't been working.
All right. In 9.5 hours, we could start a new diet and quit it 3 times. You could call your parents and actually finish the conversation. You could scroll TikTok long enough to get served every conspiracy theory the algorithm has. You could do laundry, but forget to fold it, leaving a warm mountain of regret. ChatGPT, you're getting better, man. I'll be honest.
I feel like, is this like, are we not paying for the upgraded version of ChatGPT? They could have done better with those.
I feel like it's getting there. I'm down to like 4th or 5th time asking the question. How about drive from San Diego to Roswell just to see if aliens are real? Come back with only a keychain and some trust issues. Aliens are real, dude. They're real as hell, man.
I guess it's going to take 9.5 hours. Take a lot longer than that to figure out if Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis can hit a baseball in October.
See, does the next manager even have anything to do with that? Is my question. Like, is the next manager actually going to be able to change that? Because that's the biggest problem facing the Padres, and I feel like that's part of the reason Mike Schilt retired.
That's why everyone's frustrated in San Diego, because you look at the team on paper and go, this is a team that
Let's go Blue Jays.
Could be hell for people in the postseason, and yet it's perennially coming up short. And it's a tough sell when you run the same roster out every year and expect different results.
All right, our buddy Rich on YouTube saying no way Fletch lives more than 15 years from now. What the hell, Rich, putting that out there right before the line is thinnest between the living and the dead on All Hallows Eve tomorrow night? That's an effed up thing to say, bro. Hope I live longer than 15 years.
Hopefully. I don't think Rich is rooting against it. He's just saying it's a possibility.
Because of what? Because of my lifestyle? What do I do? I don't do anything.
I think your lifestyle could play into it.
Jeez, man, this is her. Look, I got a cool beard, man. Things are going well for me.
It's just like you've bald. What age did you bald?
That has nothing to do with anything, Sammy, but thank you for bringing it up. 19 years old is when I first started noticing it.
That's usually like way later for most people. So Rich is probably just a little concerned that your timeline's been moving up ever since then.
I don't have to take this. I want to give away some Bryan Adams tickets. He's Canadian. The Blue Jays are Canadian. All good things are Canadian at this point. So if you want some Bryan Adams tickets, he's playing Viejas Arena coming up in a few weeks with Pat Benatar and Neil Girardo for the Roll with the Punches tour. Give us a call right now, 877-767-4760. Sammy, what caller number, you bald-hating piece of crap, do you want to give us 7? Caller number 7? Caller number 7 at 877-767-4760. Your chance to win some Bryan Adams tickets. Man, I got some thinking to do. Commercials, fire them.
Rogaine.
San Diego Sports 760 for a final time here today. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John and Jim take over then. John and Jim taking over from the Broken Yoke on the campus of San Diego State, doing a special live broadcast with a bunch of members of the Aztecs basketball team. Brian Dutcher is going to be there, BJ Davis, as well as Miles Bird. So go on over and check it out or just listen to them the rest of today. Now, Sammy, I will say somebody reached out to me and asked me, hey, what's the best way I can support your show over on San Diego Sports 760? I like what you and Sammy are doing. The best way to listen to our show and support our show is to listen live on the iHeartRadio app, add us to your presets, and click that little share button and send it to everybody you know.
Oh, I appreciate those people reaching out. I appreciate that you tune in. Yes, our bosses love when we're preset number one.
Yes, add us to your presets is the most important thing. We need 1 million of you to do so.
I'm like, hey, Mary, you're the best. Our program director. Did you hear that great bit we did today? How many presets did you get?
Yeah. I'd say Mary's on the really good level. I don't know about best level yet.
Mary's the greatest.
She likes the presets.
Mary, I compare a lot to, you ever watch Slow Horses?
What?
You ever watch the show Slow Horses?
No. What's that?
It's a fantastic show. It's British Spies.
Is that the Gary Oldman one?
Yes. She's like Gary Oldman. She's like.
Are you comparing our female boss to older male actor?
No, not in terms of looks.
Rough way to look, man.
In terms of in terms of how she acts, she's like she looks out for us among everyone else, but then in a meeting she keeps it real with Fletch and I.
Sure, yeah, that's a good way to do it. If you're trying to commit career suicide, Sammy, that's a great way. If
you've seen the show, you get what I'm talking about.
Sure. All right. It is San Diego Sports 760. And I will say, if you like this show, it's because we can give you content like this. If there was ever a day for you while you're by yourself, you driving around in your car right now, 35 to 50 years old, somewhere in that range, maybe a man, maybe you have a wife, kids. If there was a day for you while
maybe you're 18, while you're to be 35 to 53.
Sure. We love 18-year-olds.
Maybe you're 75.
What I'm saying is, if you find yourself alone at some point today with just you and your phone, today's a good day to just search the words into Twitter, Sydney space Sweeney.
Okay. Whoa.
There was some big event last night, and I thought she had a lot of interesting things to say, Sammy.
I thought you were about to say you and your phone and say search us up, which I was like, whoa, I don't know what Fletcher's getting into.
I mean that too, but
everyone's prerogative.
There was some big event last night. Sydney Sweeney had a lot of great things to say, Sammy. I'm just saying, go ahead and give that a search or two.
Shout out to Kendall Fletcher for putting up with this just constantly.
She was the first person I sent that post to, if believe it or not, Sammy. So she gets it. San Diego Sports 760. That's about it for us today. We're going to end on a high note here.
We have 2 minutes left.
Because we got to make some bets, Sammy. Tonight, Baltimore in Miami, taking on the Miami Dolphins, who got a win last week. They smashed the crap out of the Atlanta Falcons after being dogged by a bunch of points. What's it going to look like tonight? It's a 7.5-point spread. The road favorite, Baltimore Ravens, who have been very down this year, are they all of a sudden just going to be back to normal because Lamar Jackson is back? That's the question if you're trying to bet this game tonight that you have to think about. Does Lamar Jackson coming back automatically take this from what probably would be a 3.5-point favored Baltimore Ravens to a 7.5-point favored to Baltimore Ravens? Sammy, which way are you going?
I do think Baltimore wins. I would take Miami to cover. I think 7.5 is a really big number for an NFL game where there's a lot of implications on the other side. They keep saying that Greer and Mike McDaniel are safe. Well, if they lose tonight, I doubt they are. You have a perfect opportunity for a firing Friday before you get back in the building on Monday. Put someone in place with the coaching staff, as well as Tua Tagovailoa. He's playing for himself, whether he's playing to be a starting quarterback either in Miami or somewhere else next year. We've seen a lot of guys be able to do it. Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, guys kind of resurrect their career, but they're looking at drafting a quarterback. I'm going to go 27-21 Baltimore. That would be, what's the point? Under 51.
That is under 51.5 is the total.
I think the under is the way to go here. I think this is too big of a number, 51.5. That's a large number, especially for Lamar Jackson just coming back from injury. And I think both teams are going to try to run the ball with H.A. and Derrick Henry, which is going to kill some of the clock.
27-21. So what does that add up to? That's 48. So yeah, that'd be under. Oof. Who'd you have winning?
Baltimore.
Not covering.
Yeah, they're 27-21.
So that's 6 points. So you're taking Miami on the spread.
That's what I said. Yeah, 6 is different than 7.5. 6 is less than 7.5.
I'm trying to do the math in my head, Sam. I'm thinking about my picks right now, and you're making it a little harder. I am going to take Baltimore to cover.
Okay. Are you going over on the total or under?
Under on the total. I think that Miami had a nice little offensive explosion last week. I think they really come back to earth this week. So I like the Malik Washington pick on long shots. I really do. But I think this changes back the other way. So give me Miami and the under.
A lot of implications on this game tonight.
Lots of them. Lots of implications on John Schaefer and Jim Russell, who are coming up next. They are live from the Broken Yoke on the campus of San Diego State. Stay tuned and get some info on the San Diego State men's basketball program. That's next. It's San Diego Sports 760. We might see it for a Friday. We might be fired. Bye.